What if I told you that the next time someone attacks you with harsh words, you could stay completely calm, unshaken, unbothered, and by the end of the conversation, they'd be the ones questioning their behavior? Sounds impossible? It's not. Imagine walking into every difficult conversation armed with strategies so powerful they leave even the most aggressive people speechless, not through anger, but through wisdom. In this video, you'll discover 7 verbal tricks inspired by Stoic philosophy that don't just protect your dignity, but subtly turn the tables, making the other person reflect on their hostility. These aren't vague theories or generic advice. Each technique is rooted in centuries-old Stoic principles and paired with real-life examples you can apply immediately. You'll learn how to dismantle manipulative arguments, diffuse tension, and transform even the most heated exchanges into opportunities for mutual respect and understanding. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed in a confrontation or wished for a better way to respond, stay with me until the end. These tricks might just change the way you handle every conversation, and they might even change your life. Let's get started. 1. Stay calm by pausing and adjusting your body language. Staying calm in a heated conversation isn't easy, especially when you feel attacked or under pressure. Imagine being in an important meeting and your boss suddenly turns to you, speaking in a sharp tone. "Why is this project delayed? Is this how you work?" Your instinct might urge you to react defensively, argue back, or explain yourself immediately. But let me ask you this: does reacting instantly solve the problem? Often, it doesn't. In fact, a deliberate pause and the mindful adjustment of your body language can completely transform the dynamic of the conversation. One of the core principles of Stoic philosophy is to control your emotions in the face of external provocations. When someone attacks you, they often expect a heated emotional reaction. But by choosing to pause, not only to control your emotions, but also to think carefully before responding, you regain control of the situation. Pausing doesn't just calm your emotions, it also reduces the tension in the conversation. In those few seconds of deep breathing, you give yourself the chance to process and respond thoughtfully. Body language also plays a crucial role in managing the situation. When you sit upright, relax your shoulders, and maintain a calm facial expression, you not only stabilize yourself internally, but also send a message to the other person: you are composed and in control. A steady gaze into the other person's eyes, combined with a measured, steady tone, can make all the difference. On the other hand, crossing your arms, clenching your jaw, or fidgeting might escalate the tension, signaling defensiveness or frustration. I once witnessed a colleague face sharp criticism from a department head during a meeting. Instead of reacting immediately, he paused, took a deep breath, and responded with a calm voice. "I understand your concerns about the timeline. Let me revisit the details and provide you with an updated report by the end of the day." His thoughtful response not only diffused the tension, but also steered the conversation toward a constructive solution. Pausing for a few seconds instead of reacting impulsively allowed him to maintain his professionalism and control over the situation. This approach is equally effective in personal life. Once, during a family disagreement, I was accused of always doing things my own way and ignoring others' input. My initial urge was to defend myself, but instead I paused, took a deep breath, and said, "I'm sorry if I've made you feel that way. Can you help me understand your perspective better?" That response shifted the conversation from an argument to a discussion and helped me gain a deeper understanding of their emotions. Pausing isn't a sign of weakness, it's a demonstration of inner strength. It shows you have the ability to regulate yourself in tense situations. As Epictetus famously said, It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Everything hinges on your response. By choosing to pause instead of reacting immediately, you protect your dignity while also creating a safe space for the other person to reconsider their words or actions. Practicing this skill daily will help you become a more grounded communicator. Start with small situations. When you encounter disagreement, resist the urge to respond right away. Take a moment to observe your emotions, adjust your body language, and carefully consider your reply. This is how you build confidence and control in every conversation. The most important thing to remember is that you always have the power to choose your reaction. Sometimes, the smallest pause makes the biggest impact. 2. Recognize and challenge hidden assumptions. After mastering the art of staying calm with pauses and adjusting your body language, it's time to address one of the most subtle yet powerful aspects of communication: hidden assumptions. These assumptions, often embedded in the way questions are framed, act as traps designed to corner you into agreeing with something you never consciously endorsed. Imagine this. You're in a team meeting and a colleague asks, "Are you really suggesting we stick to an approach that everyone else opposes?" On the surface, the question seems reasonable, but lurking within it is an assumption that your idea is unpopular and unsupported. If you respond impulsively, you risk validating this false premise. Recognizing and addressing such assumptions is essential to regaining control of the conversation and maintaining your composure. Let me share an example. During a strategy session, a senior colleague I respected asked, "Do we really want to jeopardize client satisfaction just to try something new?" The way the question was phrased suggested that innovation was inherently risky. Instead of rushing to defend the decision, I paused and responded, "That's an interesting perspective. Could you explain why you feel this approach might jeopardize client satisfaction?" This subtle redirection challenged the assumption without escalating the tension. To my surprise, the conversation shifted as others expressed support for the innovative idea. The assumption that new equals risky dissolved, and we were able to discuss the proposal on its merits. Hidden assumptions also appear in personal conversations. Imagine reconnecting with an old friend who casually asks, "Do you still hold on to those strange ideas you used to talk about?" Embedded in this question is the implication that your beliefs are odd or invalid. A defensive reaction might escalate the situation, but a Stoic would respond with curiosity, saying, "That's an interesting way to see it. Could you share why you think they're unusual?" By inviting dialogue rather than conflict, you gently nudge the other person to reconsider their assumptions while keeping the conversation constructive. Marcus Aurelius offers a timeless reminder in Meditations. When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. This insight highlights the importance of self-awareness when faced with provocative questions. Instead of reacting emotionally, take a moment to reflect. What is this person really implying? How can I respond in a way that remains true to my values while fostering mutual understanding? Let's consider another scenario. During a family gathering, a relative comments, "So you think you're smarter than everyone else here?" The underlying assumption is arrogance on your part. Instead of reacting indignantly, you could calmly say, "That's not what I think at all. What made you feel that way?" This response disarms the hidden assumption while opening the door for honest communication. By refusing to accept the premise of the question, you maintain control and encourage a more respectful dialogue. Developing the ability to recognize and challenge assumptions requires practice, but the results are profound. It's not about outsmarting others. It's about guiding conversations toward clarity and mutual respect. Have you ever felt trapped by a question only to realize later that it was the assumption, not the words themselves, that made you uncomfortable. Reflect on such moments. How might the conversation have shifted if you had paused and addressed the underlying premise? The skill to recognize hidden assumptions is especially valuable in professional settings. For instance, if someone asks, "Why are you prioritizing this minor issue over the big picture?" you can reframe the narrative by replying, "I didn't realize this was perceived as minor. Could we explore its potential impact together?" This approach not only dismantles the assumption, but also positions you as a thoughtful and collaborative communicator. If you've encountered similar questions, think about how you responded. Did you challenge the assumption, or did you accept it without realizing? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you navigated these tricky situations. And if this approach resonates with you, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel for more Stoic-inspired tools. Every interaction you improve contributes to a calmer and more thoughtful world. The next time someone asks a loaded question, take a moment to reflect on what's being implied. Ask yourself, do I agree with this assumption? How can I respond without validating it? By doing so, you reclaim your power in the conversation and respond with wisdom and poise. These small, intentional choices define the essence of Stoicism, living thoughtfully and communicating with integrity. 3. Escape the trap of "so you're saying." One of the most frustrating tactics in difficult conversations is the "so you're saying" trap, where someone deliberately distorts your words to misrepresent your stance. This tactic puts you on the defensive, forcing you to explain or deny something you never said in the first place. Imagine during a work meeting, you propose a strategy to focus on improving client retention. A colleague interrupts with, "So you're saying we should stop trying to acquire new clients?" The distortion not only misrepresents your point, but also shifts the conversation into a space where you have to defend something you never claimed. This is a common yet subtle challenge, and mastering how to navigate it is essential to maintaining clarity and control. I once encountered a situation where a colleague, Sarah, faced this exact trap during a project review. She suggested reducing reliance on outdated tools and investing in updated software. Another team member immediately responded, "So you're saying we've been wasting money all these years?" Instead of reacting defensively, Sarah paused for a moment and calmly replied, "That's not what I'm saying. My point is that investing in updated tools can save costs and improve efficiency moving forward. Let me explain further." This simple, composed response not only corrected the misrepresentation, but also reinforced her original message without creating unnecessary conflict. The key to escaping the "so you're saying" trap lies in your ability to calmly clarify your position without falling into an emotional reaction. When someone misrepresents your words, resist the urge to argue or defend impulsively. Instead, take a breath, pause, and respond with precision. For example, if someone says, "So you're saying hard work isn't important at all?" After you've emphasized the need for strategic thinking alongside effort, you can respond, "Not at all. What I'm saying is that hard work combined with the right strategy produces better results." This method not only corrects their distortion, but also demonstrates your control over the conversation. This tactic doesn't just appear in professional settings, it happens in personal interactions too. Imagine during a family discussion, a relative says, "So you think you're better than us because you went to college?" A defensive reaction might escalate the tension, but a thoughtful response could transform the moment. You might say, "That's not what I believe at all. I value education, but I also respect everyone's experiences and perspectives. Why do you feel that way?" This kind of response challenges the misrepresentation while opening the door for dialogue and mutual understanding. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This principle is especially relevant when facing distorted interpretations of your words. By choosing a composed response, you maintain control of your narrative and protect your peace of mind. Think back to a time when someone twisted your words. How did you respond? Would a calm clarification have changed the outcome? Another example of this tactic in action involved a team leader proposing a new scheduling system to increase flexibility for employees. One of their colleagues shot back, "So you're saying people shouldn't have to follow a schedule anymore?" Instead of reacting to the exaggeration, the leader smiled and replied, "Not at all. I'm saying that by giving people more flexibility, we can actually improve overall productivity. Let's discuss how this could work in practice." This response neutralized the distortion and steered the conversation back to a constructive tone. The power of this approach lies in your ability to stay focused on your core message. The "so you're saying" trap often seeks to provoke emotional reactions, but when you remain calm and clarify, you disarm the tactic. Next time you face this challenge, ask yourself, what is the most composed and clear way I can correct this misrepresentation? Practicing this skill will not only improve your communication, but also help you build emotional resilience. If you've ever been in a situation where your words were distorted, how did you handle it? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you navigated the challenge. And if this technique resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic-inspired strategies to navigate life's complexities. Mastering this skill isn't about winning arguments, but about maintaining your integrity and ensuring your message is heard accurately. By escaping this trap with grace and clarity, you demonstrate the essence of Stoic wisdom, staying unshaken in the face of provocation and turning difficult conversations into opportunities for growth. 4. Use questions to steer the conversation. A well-timed question can be your most powerful tool in diffusing tension and taking control of a heated conversation. Questions have the unique ability to redirect aggression into reflection, turning arguments into opportunities for understanding. Imagine being in a team meeting where a colleague, visibly frustrated, says, "Why are we wasting time on these pointless tasks?" Instead of jumping to defend your work, you respond with, "What part of the process do you think is causing the biggest delay?" This simple question shifts the tone from confrontation to collaboration, inviting them to engage constructively rather than accusing. I once witnessed a colleague handle a challenging situation with remarkable poise. During a brainstorming session, the team leader snapped, "Why is your department always falling behind schedule?" Instead of reacting defensively, the colleague replied, "Could you share which specific deadlines are most critical? That way, I can prioritize those immediately." The tone in the room changed instantly. What could have been a blame game became a practical discussion about solutions. That question not only demonstrated accountability, but also directed the conversation toward actionable steps, leaving the leader visibly calmer and the team more focused. In personal life, this tactic works just as effectively. Imagine during a family dinner someone says, "You're always so stubborn. Why can't you just agree with everyone for once?" Instead of retaliating, you calmly ask, "What makes you feel that way? Can you share an example?" The question encourages them to reflect on their words and opens a door to understanding rather than escalating the disagreement. Have you ever used a question to redirect a heated exchange? Think about how such a moment unfolded and what impact it had. Epictetus wrote, We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Questions embody this principle, showing others that you value their perspective while giving you a moment to compose yourself. A question isn't just a way to buy time, it's a signal that you're willing to listen and explore their concerns, even in the heat of the moment. This approach can neutralize emotional attacks, giving both parties space to rethink their positions. In one instance, I was in a meeting where a client bluntly asked, "Why are you suggesting something so risky?" The comment had the potential to derail the discussion, but instead of justifying my position, I replied, "Could you clarify which aspects of the proposal seem most risky to you? Maybe we can address those concerns directly." That one question turned a challenging moment into an insightful dialogue, allowing us to tweak the proposal in a way that satisfied the client's concerns without compromising our ideas. The magic of questions lies in their ability to disarm and redirect. They're not just tools for clarification, they're tools for connection. When someone feels heard and understood, even their most aggressive stance can soften. Consider this. Next time someone challenges you, instead of reacting, pause and ask, "What do you think would work better?" Or "What outcome are you hoping for here?" These questions shift the focus from conflict to collaboration, empowering both sides to work together toward a solution. If you've ever experienced a moment where a simple question changed the course of a conversation, I'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments below. And if this technique resonates with you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more Stoic-inspired tools for navigating life's challenges. The power of questions isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about transforming the way we communicate. They show patience, curiosity, and a willingness to understand, a hallmark of Stoic wisdom. So, next time you feel the heat rising in a conversation, pause, ask a thoughtful question, and watch as the tension dissolves into dialogue. This simple practice can reshape not only your conversations, but also the way you approach every interaction in life. 5. Avoid the straw man argument. When engaging in a heated conversation, few things are as tempting or as damaging as resorting to a straw man argument. This occurs when someone misrepresents the other person's viewpoint, creating an oversimplified or exaggerated version that's easier to refute. While it might feel like an effective way to win an argument, this tactic damages trust, undermines productive dialogue, and often escalates conflicts. Imagine discussing a proposed budget increase for sustainability programs, and your colleague responds, "So you think we should ignore profits and waste money on green initiatives?" Instead of addressing the merits of your idea, they've built a flimsy caricature of your argument that's easier to attack. This approach may momentarily tilt the debate in their favor, but it detracts from meaningful communication. I once observed a perfect example of this during a community forum. A local advocate suggested allocating more funding for public libraries, arguing that they provided essential resources for underserved communities. Someone in the audience interjected, "So what you're saying is we should pour all our money into libraries and ignore other important issues like public safety?" The advocate paused, smiled, and replied, "That's not what I'm suggesting at all. Libraries complement public safety by providing education and reducing inequality, which can address the root causes of crime. These investments aren't mutually exclusive. They work together." This calm and measured response dismantled the straw man argument without hostility, shifting the discussion back to its original focus. Avoiding the straw man trap begins with a commitment to fairness and intellectual honesty. It's tempting to distort someone's viewpoint, especially when you strongly disagree, but this approach leads to hollow victories. Instead, focus on understanding the other person's true stance. For example, in a workplace discussion, if a colleague proposes a new work-from-home policy, resist the urge to counter with, "So you think no one should ever come to the office again?" Instead, you might say, "I'd like to understand your reasoning better. How do you see this policy benefiting the team?" This not only fosters constructive dialogue, but also signals that you value their perspective, even if you disagree. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This wisdom highlights the importance of integrity in communication. When faced with someone twisting your words or creating a straw man argument, choose to remain calm and address their misunderstanding directly. For example, if someone says, "So you're saying hard work doesn't matter?" After you advocate for work-life balance, you might respond, "Not at all. I believe hard work is important, but maintaining balance ensures sustainability and long-term success." This type of reply refutes the distortion while reaffirming your values. In personal conversations, the straw man tactic can create unnecessary tension. Imagine a family member saying, "So you don't care about family traditions anymore?" because you suggested trying something new for the holidays. Instead of getting defensive, you could say, "I value our traditions deeply, but I thought it might be fun to add something new this year. What do you think?" This approach redirects the conversation from accusation to collaboration, maintaining both respect and harmony. The straw man argument thrives on provoking emotional responses, but you can neutralize it with clarity and composure. Have you ever faced a situation where someone twisted your words, making it harder to communicate your true point? How did you respond, and what might you do differently next time? Reflecting on these moments can help you prepare for future conversations where this tactic might arise. Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and strategies. And if this insight resonates with you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more tools inspired by Stoic wisdom. Mastering the art of avoiding the straw man argument isn't just about maintaining fairness, it's about fostering understanding. By choosing to engage with the actual ideas presented rather than their distorted versions, you show strength, respect, and an unwavering commitment to constructive communication. The next time you're tempted to create or respond to a straw man, pause, reflect, and ask yourself, what's the most honest way to approach this? In doing so, you'll elevate not only the conversation, but also your character, embodying the true essence of Stoic philosophy. 6. Find common ground instead of confronting. In heated conversations, it's easy to see the other person as an adversary, positioning their viewpoint as something to be defeated. Yet one of the most transformative tools in Stoic communication is finding common ground. By focusing on shared values and goals, you can turn disagreements into opportunities for collaboration. Imagine being in a workplace meeting where a colleague critiques your proposal harshly, saying, "This plan is unrealistic and bound to fail." Instead of reacting defensively with, "You're just against innovation," you could respond calmly, "I think we both want this project to succeed. What changes would you suggest to make it more practical?" This approach diffuses tension and shifts the conversation from conflict to teamwork. I witnessed a brilliant example of this during a community debate about urban planning. Two participants, Rachel and Tom, had opposing views. Rachel advocated for expanding bike lanes, while Tom emphasized the need for more parking spaces to support businesses. The discussion grew tense until Rachel paused and said, "I think we both care about improving transportation for everyone. What if we find a way to balance both priorities?" That simple acknowledgement of shared goals transformed the debate. Instead of battling, they brainstormed solutions like shared use paths and better parking management, demonstrating how finding common ground builds bridges. Stoic philosophy teaches us to see the bigger picture. Marcus Aurelius writes in Meditations, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings no benefit to the bee." This wisdom reminds us that our well-being is tied to the collective good. When you focus on shared values, even in disagreement, you lay a foundation for cooperation and mutual respect. Have you ever been in a conflict that softened when you acknowledged common ground? Reflect on how this approach changed the conversation and deepened understanding. Consider a family scenario. Imagine a relative accusing you during dinner, "You never care about our traditions anymore." Such remarks can feel like personal attacks, tempting a defensive reaction. Instead, you might reply, "I really value our traditions and the way they connect us. I thought we could try something new this year, but I'd love to hear how we can include everyone's preferences." This response shifts the focus from opposition to collaboration, preserving harmony while fostering open dialogue. The same principle applies in professional settings. During a project discussion, a manager might dismiss a proposal by saying, "This is too risky." A defensive response could escalate tensions, but a Stoic approach would sound like, "I understand your concerns. I think we both want the project to succeed. What steps can we take to minimize risks while moving forward?" This reframing transforms critique into constructive problem-solving, building trust and teamwork. Sometimes, finding common ground also means uncovering shared motivations. If a colleague resists changes in workplace policies, you could ask, "What concerns you most about this shift? Is there a way we can address that while moving forward?" This question not only highlights shared goals, but also demonstrates empathy, turning resistance into progress. Finding common ground doesn't mean sacrificing your beliefs. It means recognizing that, even in disagreement, there are shared principles to build on. For example, in a negotiation where one party prioritizes cost-cutting and another emphasizes quality, both sides can agree on creating long-term value. Highlighting this shared objective makes compromise achievable without diluting priorities. This technique reflects emotional resilience. Instead of reacting combatively, you remain calm, curious, and solution-focused. Have you ever used this approach? How did it change the outcome? Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear your insights. And if this resonates, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom in communication. The beauty of finding common ground lies in its power to transform conflicts into meaningful exchanges. Next time you're in a disagreement, pause and ask yourself, what do we both value here? How can we work toward that shared goal? By practicing this, you turn tension into opportunities for connection and embody the essence of Stoicism, fostering harmony, respect, and constructive outcomes in every interaction. 7. Use metaphors to convey your message. As we approach the final technique in this journey of Stoic-inspired communication, we delve into one of the most subtle yet impactful tools, the use of metaphors. Metaphors allow you to transform abstract concepts into vivid, relatable imagery, making your message resonate on a deeper emotional level. Imagine you're in the middle of a tense discussion where logic seems to falter and emotions run high. Instead of arguing further, you calmly say, "This situation feels like a stormy sea, but if we navigate carefully, we can still reach a safe harbor together." Such a simple metaphor can cut through the tension, shift perspectives, and inspire cooperation. Let me share a personal story that highlights the power of metaphors. A friend of mine, Sarah, once confided in me about a heated disagreement with her younger brother, who felt she was overly critical of his career choices. Rather than continuing to defend her position, Sarah paused and said, "I see your career as a tree you're nurturing. Sometimes I worry that the soil might not be fertile enough, but I realize it's your tree to grow and protect." Her brother paused, visibly moved by the metaphor, and replied, "I hadn't thought about it that way. Thanks for trusting me with my tree." What could have been a widening rift turned into a heartfelt connection, all because Sarah used imagery to shift the tone of their conversation. Stoic wisdom aligns beautifully with the use of metaphors. Seneca once said, "A ship should not ride on a single anchor, nor life on a single hope." This quote reminds us that metaphors can convey depth and clarity that words alone often fail to achieve. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where your logical explanations fell flat, but a metaphor changed the entire dynamic? Reflect on how that moment reshaped the conversation and strengthened your connection with the other person. Consider how this technique can diffuse tension in everyday conflicts. Picture a heated workplace exchange where a team member accuses you of being inflexible. Instead of responding defensively, you say, "I see this project as a puzzle. Each piece has its place, and I think we're just trying to figure out where this piece fits best." This metaphor frames the conflict as a shared problem-solving effort rather than a personal attack, making it easier for the team to refocus on the task at hand. Metaphors also work wonders in family settings. Imagine a parent frustrated with their teenager's messy room. Rather than yelling, they might say, "Your room is like a garden, and right now it looks like the weeds are winning. How can we clear some space for the flowers to grow?" This shift in language transforms what could be a nagging complaint into an invitation to collaborate, fostering mutual respect and understanding. Using metaphors isn't just about diffusing conflict, it's also about inspiring action and introspection. In conversations about change, for example, you might say, "Change is like climbing a mountain. The path can be steep and challenging, but the view from the top is always worth it." This metaphor not only validates the other person's struggle, but also motivates them to keep going. Have you tried using metaphors to communicate effectively? What kind of reaction did it elicit? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear how this technique has worked for you. And if this approach resonates, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more strategies that can transform your conversations. The beauty of metaphors lies in their ability to bypass defenses and speak directly to the heart. They allow you to paint a picture that words alone cannot, creating a shared understanding that transcends logic. As you navigate challenging interactions, remember to pause and think, what image could help this person see the issue differently? How can I frame my perspective in a way that feels inviting rather than confrontational? When used thoughtfully, metaphors can become one of your most powerful tools for connection and resolution. As we conclude this exploration of the 7 Stoic verbal tricks, reflect on how each one can empower you to transform conflict into growth. These techniques aren't just strategies, they're a way of embodying Stoic principles in everyday life, fostering harmony, respect, and understanding in all your interactions. So, the next time a conversation turns aggressive, remember, you have the tools to stay composed, guide the dialogue, and inspire reflection. And don't forget to come back for more Stoic insights. This journey is just the beginning. As we wrap up this exploration of the 7 verbal tricks to make an aggressive person sorry, remember that these techniques are more than just tools for handling tense situations. They're a pathway to building empathy, respect, and meaningful connections in your conversations. Each strategy, from staying calm and pausing, to finding common ground, to using vivid metaphors, equips you with the ability to transform potential conflicts into opportunities for growth and understanding. These aren't just communication tactics, they reflect the essence of Stoic philosophy, helping you cultivate inner strength and emotional resilience. Now it's your turn to bring these principles to life. Start by practicing 1 or 2 techniques in your daily interactions and notice the difference they make. How does your approach change the tone of conversations? How do others respond when you lead with clarity and composure? We'd love to hear your experiences, so share them in the comments below. Your insights might inspire someone else to try these methods. If you found value in this video, share it with friends or family who could benefit from these strategies. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more Stoic-inspired content. Together, let's continue to foster understanding and respect, one conversation at a time.